when you're in the business to do this on a regular basis, you always want to try to improve your purchasing power. And because you're in business and you're investing, most nurseries will give you professional courtesy and drop you the good prices just because you're in the business. But stop by, get to know the manager, because the prices are really priceless. They're usually less than way half of the big commercial nurseries, like at, even Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, any of those places where the prices are really, really good. You get a better quality and a much larger, more established vegetation here for severely less. What does that do to your property? It just increases its value, especially when it comes to street value and curb appeal, to have more established vegetation. As a matter of fact, off in the distance, you can see those large plants that are touching the roof. I'm here today because those are actually oversized bird of paradise, and we're going to be using those on one of our projects, the mid-site project, and the price that we can purchase those for as large as they are, about half that size. I just saw them at Home Depot yesterday. But here, we're gonna pay 19 bucks for that same plant that's currently selling on sale at Home Depot right now for a smaller size for $39. So again, when you're purchasing 5, 6, 7 of those items, they just look 3 times the size, and you're paying so much severely less for it. So here we are at the oversized bird of paradise. One of the other little things that it's really important that you do know when you're here at a wholesale nursery, they usually give you a roll of non-sticky tape, and that's what you usually tag your plant material with. But what you need to know when you're at a wholesale nursery is a lot of times this larger established vegetation has been here for a while. If you look down here, this is what to watch for. If you look down here, you see that container busted open, and you see roots that are growing into the ground. What you want to make sure you don't do is purchase something like this. The reason for it is, even though the plant is nice and big and huge, you'll end up cutting that root off, taking it to your site, dropping it in the ground, look good for about a day or so, but then it'll wilt and die on you because you've had to cut at that root. It sometimes works, but most of the time it doesn't. Usually what will happen is, if you want to buy something like this, maybe say for instance you've tagged a tree that really looks great, a good specimen tree that's going to spotlight in the front of a front yard or something like that, maybe in the middle of a lawn. If you have the nursery cut it at the root, the nurseries will usually let it sit there for a day or so to see if it will go into shock. If it doesn't go into shock, then you can turn around and purchase it and bring it to your yard. But 9 times out of 10, you'll want to avoid these type of plants because they're oversized and they've already grown into the ground. So you're just really yanking roots out of the ground, and the plants just go into complete shock and you lose them. So just another little quick tip, keep an eye on that kind of thing when you're in a wholesale nursery as well. So every now and then, just like the giant bird of paradise that I showed you just a little bit ago, I stumble upon just a really great value. But I like to use a lot of this reed sort of grassy material in a lot of my landscaping. And here we go. These are oversized, and by them being oversized, these won't hurt if you pull them out of the ground. They're pretty hardy. It's just something that I happen to know, but I'm going to end up purchasing probably a good 30, 40, 50 of these things because they are so established. Drop those in the ground and they look really, really great at a house. One of the things that I do that makes it a little bit easier while I'm creating my list is I just use my phone, like a camera. And so I'll just sit there when I see what I want. In this case, I always kick them at the bottom because I want to make sure that they're not grown into the ground. So that kind of tells me whether they're loose or not. And this particular shrub, I like it. It's even with the dead flowers on it, they look a little bit reddish, so it looks like it's got some more color on it. And then as we get closer into spring, these are going to bloom white. So these are a nice established hedge, really, really good price because they are larger. We're still only talking about a 3-gallon container here. So, these are about $5, $6 a piece, and you just can't compare. I mean, $5 or $6 at Home Depot is going to get you just a little tiny little shrub. But anyway, what I do is I use my phone, my iPhone, and I just shoot pictures of it. So I walk around, shoot pictures, and that gives me a chance when I go back to the office to establish a budget, revisiting my photos, just like a list rather than writing it all down. So I just shoot a picture, and I send it to an email to place my order. The attendants here, or the managers, they already know what they're going to call this stuff. But anyway, that's how I identify it, to take a photo of it and kind of also shoot a location so that they can see some background of where it's at. In this case, behind the camera here, the camera can't see, but there's a shade house. So when I'm shooting this picture, I'll shoot this plant material, show the shade house in the background, so the managers here will know where it's at. Thanks for checking in, and I will keep you posted on a progress, but now you've got a little bit of a heads up on wholesale nurseries.